So last week you all saw that the Z6III can get some seriously great footage. The 6K RAW looks fantastic. Shadows were actually like decently clean, but I'll be 100% honest. It's not the camera that made the difference. It's the lighting. Once again, the song that we were filming was a cover, so I won't be able to play the actual music along with the song, but I will include the shots and I will provide a link in my description when the video is done. It's not finished yet, but you'll be able to go check those guys out. And I highly recommend them. Super great dudes. If you like metal, then you're gonna love them. So let's get on to the lighting. This is a relatively simple shoot. I knew I wanted that main orbiting shot. So that was what I kind of wanted to set up as the wide. Typically when I shoot videos, I start with the wide shot and then I move to close-ups so that I only really have to light the main scene once. And then we can worry about little odds and ends when we move into the close-ups if we need to. Naturally, when you're orbiting around a band, you run into an issue, and that's how do you boom the light overhead without seeing the stands. So I decided the best way to do this without actually seeing the light stands and everything like that was to actually hang it from the ceiling. But it was a little bit tricky because the mount that I brought, that I'm using on this light here, was not quite long enough to get the light down where we needed it. Comes this way. Comes this way. Are you recording? Yes. Listen to me. So this is what we do, yeah? This is the NAN light FS300, okay? We take the NAN light like so. We have softbox, but we connect it to this right here. This is the center of C-stack. Yeah. I don't know why I'm talking in this accent. I'm gonna stop. We're getting hoisted by the forklift there. Forklift, yeah. Hoists. And then we're attaching this to the ceiling so that I can get top-down lighting with my little aperture lantern on the whole band. One light. With this NAN light thing.
For a whole band.
I have no loyalty to any lighting companies. So I have NAN light, I have Amaran, and I have the dang Godox all with me today. We'll see what we actually use, but that's the plan. So what we did was we took the base off of my C-stand and then we put some little collars, tightened them on super tight to the neck of the C-stand, and then we drilled in some cables in the wood, and then we just attached the light from there. I made sure everything was really, really secure. I pulled on it, tugged on it. If you do it yourself, make sure you use safety chains. I use the Nanlite FS300B. I believe it's the bicolor one, and it's the studio version, so it's not like their highest tier of light, I guess. It's kind of one of their cheaper lights. It's higher output, but it's a little bit cheaper quality, and you don't have as much free, like you can't use a V-mount battery for it, but the output is great, and I needed something that was bicolor so I could get the orange look that I wanted, the orange yellow look that I wanted. So after we attached the FS300, I just put a lantern softbox on, but I noticed that it was spilling a little too much on the walls, so I used the skirt to kind of direct it more downwards so we didn't have quite so much just filling the entire space. So after we got that set up, we had to run power to the light, and that's where some clamps really came in handy. I'm gonna show you guys the clamps that I use because they're super cheap, and I would highly recommend, if you ever are on set, to bring something like this every single time. One second. Yeah. I found them. These bad boys right here. So I got this variety pack with all kinds of different sizes. I got big ones, I got little ones, and we used a lot of the little ones to like run the cable along the ceiling, along some wood beams, and then down to a power outlet. So I highly recommend those clamps just to have something in your kit that you can just clamp things wherever they need to be clamped. So over on one side of the scene, there were like these shells with all kinds of random stuff on it, and I was like, that's where we're gonna put the green. So I have 4 tube lights, 2 2-foot tube lights, and 2 4-foot tube lights. I put the 4-foots in the middle, the 2-foots on the end, and once again I used those clamps just to hold them up onto the wood there, and the tube lights are light enough that they were able to hold them up, but just for safety I put some gaff tape on the clamps as well to just hold them on a little extra tight, because I don't really want to be buying new tube lights, you know, because they're not cheap. The tube lights I used were the Amaran. I have the PT4C and the PT2C tube lights, and I just set them to a green and tried to get them all to match as well as I could. This is where I kind of made that color contrast between the yellow, orange, and the green, and it's more of like an analogous color scheme, not like a complementary color scheme. I just kind of like the look of green and yellow. It looked just kind of grimy, I guess, gritty and dark. So that's kind of the look I wanted to go for. As we orbit around further, you'll see little pockets of light that come through from like an opening in the door that we left just a little bit cracked open. And then there's a space way back that's being really diffused by like some plastic wrap. And I brought stuff to block light off, but I feel like since we had the green on that side, that I wanted a little more, just a little more something on that other side. So we cracked the door open a little bit, and then we left that other spot back there open just so that we got little pockets of light, because it just makes the scene a little more interesting to have those little pockets of light. And then the last thing we did for the setup is, of course, fog. Now, I brought 3 fog machines. We used 2 of them. The bigger one was just a mosquito fogger, super cheap. I think it was like 70 bucks. And then you put either mineral oil or baby oil or fog juice in it. And then you put a propane canister on it, and then it smokes up the room so good. Like it was insane. That was my first time using it on an actual shoot. I've done tests and stuff outdoors, and it's good enough to haze outdoors. So indoors it worked really, really good. This is kind of a big space, so it was nice to have that with us. And then I had just a little handheld fogger from Ulanzi, and that just gave me a little bit extra between shots just to keep the fog there a little bit. I also had my little brother was carrying the mosquito fogger around every once in a while between shots just to keep the fog level there. When you set up your wide first, it makes the rest of your coverage really easy. So for the individual shots, all I did was have them twist so that they had a shadow side to their face, because I didn't want just like straight up front lighting from a lantern softbox. So I had them twist so that they at least had a shadow side to their face, so we had some depth. And I figured it was okay. I didn't really care about the continuity in this, just like performance shots, so nothing like too crazy. So I wanted to have that extra depth and that extra shape in the face. So I really liked the green, so I made sure to include it in the background whenever possible. The drummer was the hardest to light because you have to move the whole drum set to get it perfect, whereas the guitarists and the vocalists, I could just move around however I needed them. So if you notice in the wide shot, he is a little bit darker. I wish I had moved him in just a teeny bit, but it still works. I'm not mad about it at all. I think we got some great footage. Yeah, I think the only other light we used in the entire shoot was for the guitarist for his shots. Obviously he was facing the other way, so we didn't have the green tube lights in the background. So I have a little Godox. It's a little light panel. I think it's called like an FL50 or something. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on that. It's just a little 50 watt RGB like flex light little panel. So I put that down next to him just to give him a little pop of green on the side of his face. Once again, that analogous color scheme that I was going for, I wanted to show that in all the shots. So that's what I did for him. That was a super quick lighting breakdown. Hope you enjoyed the little behind the scenes and a look at why I made some of the decisions I did. If you have any more questions about this shoot or about the Z6III or anything, just leave them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. The tool that keeps the entire thing going. This is the glue. The glue that keeps me together on set. This is Red Bull Winter Edition. It tastes like opening presents on Christmas morning while simultaneously skiing down a snow hill, 60 foot, getting chased by a 10-foot Sasquatch. Oh, okay. Question for you, Mr. Director, sir. What's up? Is snowboarding down an avalanche technically surfing? Because it's still water, it's just frozen. Yes.